But I gathered all the little pieces that knocked me down, and I kind of stitched them, kind of taped them back on, you know, because that's what you.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Broken Hearts. This is Paulina, and this is Liz, and I'm Zen. And today we are going to be talking about grief or loss of a loved one or a thing, right?
Yes.
But before that, let me just say a little disclaimer. We are not licensed therapists. However, we did a thorough research on this topic, and the advice given are from personal experiences. Also, just in case anyone was wondering, even though we all know what it is, grief is a strong emotion that appears when we face loss, whether that loss is of a person or a thing that's very important to us.
Yes. Okay. So, all right. So I did do. Okay. All right. So so I did a little research on the 5 stages of grief, and the article that I found was on Healthline.com, and the title is "What You Should Know About the Stages of Grief," and it is by Kimberly Holland, medically reviewed by Timothy J. Legg, who has a PhD, who is basically a doctor. All right. So we ready? Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, so something that I did actually find really interesting about reading through this article is that not everyone goes through all the stages, mm-hmm. and not everybody goes through them in a specific order.
Right.
Like the experience is different for everybody. Mm-hmm. And let me see here. And it could be from not just the death of a loved one, but also the end of a relationship, loss of a job, or anything else that really mattered to you. That would cause you to grieve, mm-hmm. grieve over it. Yeah. And let's see here. All right, so the first stage that we have is denial, which is denying gives you time to more gradually absorb the result, beginning to process it. This is a common defense mechanism and helps numb you to the intensity of the situation. So basically, yeah, like it's like, yeah, it is like more like a, it says here, as you more out of this stage, the emotions you've been hiding will begin to rise. So while you're in that stage, it is a denial, and as you kind of grow out of it, that's when the emotions start to rise up, because at first it's like you're trying to numb yourself from the right. feeling, like right. you don't want to feel anything. An example of this, which in the article I chose this one because I personally experienced this, was the death of a loved one, where they say they're not really gone, they're coming back. And I want to share a little story, if that's okay. So yeah, so I do have an experience about seeing denial. Like when my grandmother passed away, more than, I think it was like maybe 12, 13 years ago, mm-hmm. It was a lot of us at my aunt's house. It fucking broke my heart, honestly, because it was like my grandmother, she was kind of like in a coma state. Mm-hmm. She could no longer talk, she couldn't open her eyes. And when it was my dad, one of my aunts, and one of my other aunts through marriage, that they were in the room. And it was me and all my siblings and my mom, and some of my uncles. We were in the living room and in the kitchen, and out of nowhere we hear one of my aunt in the room yell, "She's awake, she's awake." So we all rushed in there, but as it turned out, that what happened was that my grandmother, she opened her eyes. It's like she was laying down and my aunt was, sitting in front of her. Mm-hmm. She opened her eyes, but that was like her final breath.
Oh shit.
So she opened her eyes and she was gone. Mm-hmm. And from that moment, we all started like panicking, like, what's going on? But then they're telling us, no, she's gone. But my tia, my aunt, she was just so out of it that she started saying, no, she's okay, she's coming back, you see, she's awake. And she lost it, like,
you're comparing it to when she's in denial.
She's in denial. She's
yeah.
like, no, yeah, she's okay. And they try to pull her away from my grandmother because she was holding onto the bed so tight, like she did not want to let go. And she just went into like this episode where she was saying, no, she's okay. She's gonna be okay. We're gonna go back home. I'm gonna continue taking care of her. And it was heartbreaking seeing that I could not see it. I could not believe it. Like, first my grandmother's gone, and here's my tia like denying it. Like she refused it. So that's just an example that I thought of too when I was doing the research. And the second episode that we have here is anger, which is anger is masking the effect it's towards or directed to other people. For example, like the person who passed away, or your ex, or the job, or whatever thing that you lost that you're grieving over. It's your feelings in that moment are too intense. Your rational brain knows the object of your anger isn't to blame. And anger may mask itself as bitterness or resentment. Some may linger or not experience it at all. For example, if let's say you get fired, the example that I chose, and you could just say, oh, they were horrible people anyway. So
you lash back.
At them. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that, especially like with this, pandemic, and like, everybody's going through it. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people are going through it with the loss of the job, and they're just, they think it's, I can't even say it. Like, it's hard. I know how it feels. I just can't explain it either. But they blame the rest of the world
for their, for what's
happening, and just everybody has to do their part at the same time.
Yeah. And then the third stage that we have here is bargaining, which is you may feel vulnerable and helpless. Most uncommon to look for ways to regain control. You may find yourself creating what if and if only statements. It is a line of defense against the emotions of grief. So in this case, it's like you start thinking, for example, the example that I have here is breakup. If only I had spent more time with them, they would still be here. Like the what ifs, like what if I had done this? What if I have done that? If only I would have, been more considerate or stuff like that. And I can really relate to that one a lot because I do that a lot for myself when I grieve. And then stage 4 is depression. And then for this one, it says may feel like a quiet stage. By this point, you may embrace and work through the emotions in a more healthful manner. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied here. You may choose to isolate. I know a lot of people can relate to this as well. Like you don't want to be bothered. It can feel overwhelming, foggy, heavy, and confused. You feel like the inedible longing point of any loss. For example, an example that I had here was a breakup. Like, why go on at all? Like, why continue without that person?
Yeah,
exactly.
So I think that's one of the most common one that happens when it comes to grief. And then finally, stage 5 is acceptance. You've accepted it and have come to understand what it means in your life now. You may feel different in this stage. You look for acceptance as a way to see there are more good days than bad. And for example, if I brought it back to the death of a loved one, it's just, I am so fortunate to have so many wonderful years with them. Like you learn to accept that you're finally there, that you can grieve in a more positive way.
Can I share an example for that one? The acceptance one? Well, it's because it's like not everybody's all there. You know what I mean? I accept death, and I talk about death a lot, especially to my kids. There's like always, what if this happens to me? You know what to do. So, with that, I was messaging a niece of mine, my brother's daughter, and I was asking like the sizes of like the kids, so I can like get them something. And during this time, my dad had just passed away, but also her grandpa just passed away too. So she was like, her head was scattered. But then I remember her asking me like, really, right now? And she's in like, like with what's going on. And I'm like, babe, that's like, everybody takes grief very different. I accept the fact that my dad is gone, but you have to know that everybody grieves different. And if I'm not grieving the way you're grieving, then, you know, we're just very different people. I already accept the fact that he passed away. And it's either his time or it was just, it's everybody's time when they go, honestly. And some people, like, they don't think it's fair that people have to die so soon, but that's just the way life works. We can't fucking be attached to this life because this life
is not permanent.
Yes. So that's the acceptance. I accepted it, and she was like, you know, like so uncomfortable talking to me because my dad just passed away, which is her grandpa, and her other grandpa passed away like the same time. So like she lost both grandpas. But yeah, she goes like, everything that's going right now really, like, you know,
like, you want to talk about that?
Yeah. And I'm just like, yes, like, why not? Like, I'm just talking. So, you know, like, I have to move on. I have 2 kids. I can't just be in a depressing mode the whole time. I have to move on. I have 2 kids to take care of. Who's gonna take care of them? I lashed back at her like that. I was like, who is gonna take care of them if I'm depressed and like grieving over my dad? Who is gonna take care of them?
Yeah.
So I had to accept it. You know what I mean? I cried a little. That's it, and I had to move on. I had to. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, it was like it ended like really abrupt, but yeah.
No, yeah, and that's something that a little point that they kept saying, even with each stages I was reading the article, is that yeah, everybody grieves differently.
Yeah. Not
everybody has the same attachment to whatever they're grieving over.
Right.
Then, you know, like then what everybody else experiences. For example, like my aunt that was in denial. She was in such denial because, you know, she was the one taking care of her.
Right. At
the end of her days, compared to, you know, like my youngest brothers who they just knew her as the grandma, but they didn't have as much time with her as, for example, for like me or my other cousins who did grow up with her, you know. And like for my younger, like yeah, like I said, like my younger brothers, they were the 2 youngest kids at the time when she passed away. Like they were the youngest out of the entire family of all the grandkids, and they didn't get to spend as much time. They didn't get to know her
right.
even before she got sick. They
Right.
didn't know her like how
Right.
we did, like
Right.
the older generation.
Right.
So it's like it hurt us most.
Yeah.
Because we grew up with her.
Right.
Like she helped. Like at some point, she took care of me for almost 2 years as a kid. So I got to see that side of her. You know, and it did, for me, it did hurt as well. When we did lose her, it was a big hit for us.
I mean, I can talk about my mom, right? So, my mom passed away 2 years ago. She passed away 2018. The way I found out that, you know, she was sick is she was always telling me, hey, I don't want you guys to worry about me. I'm fine. Every time I asked her, hey, mom, are you okay? Like, I noticed that she was losing weight, and she would tell me because of chia seeds. And I was just asking her, like, hey, do you want me to take you to the doctor? And she was like kind of putting it off, like, no, I'll go when I'm ready to go, or when I get a day off. And then she came home one day, and she was like, I'm in pain, and she was limping. She didn't feel good, and I took her to the doctor, and they gave her a shot like on her butt to see if that'll help. But ever since then, she was on bed rest for like a whole year, and she just started to get worse and worse. And I would take her to the doctor, and she would cry, and I didn't find out until maybe like last year when I opened like her results that she was you know, she had cancer, breast cancer. So we found out that she had stage 4 cancer because she had a stroke, and we took her to the doctors, and they were telling us that she can pass any minute now. And well, you know, we had faith that she's gonna be strong and fight, and she didn't want to take radiation or you know, chemotherapy. She didn't believe in that. You know, she just felt like it'll kill her faster. And I don't know how it feels to have cancer. I don't know what pain it is. You know, I would ask her, hey mom, are you fine? Every time I would be at the hospital with her and stay with her, she'll tell me, hey, I'm fine. You know, as a mother, I'm not a mother, but as a mother and her love, she's always gonna say yes because she doesn't want to worry her kids. And you know, the doctors told her she's gonna last or make it until like the end of the month, but she made it for I would say 3 months of that day. And the thing that sucked was we couldn't take her home and take care of her ourselves. You know, I was homeless at the time, so we had to have her in a nursing home, and it was the worst thing ever because I wasn't always there. I had to work, you know, and I would come and visit her, and she would tell me that the nurses there would be mean to her. And you know, as you know, hearing that, and me as her daughter, I would do anything for her. You know, I'd do anything to protect my mom. You know, I'd stand up for her, but I didn't know. I wasn't there, and that's was something that, you know, after she passed would upset me, right? But you know, we would visit her every day. She was in San Diego, but unfortunately they had to move her all the way to Escondido. So every day we would drive an hour to visit her, yeah. And you know, like I said, every day I would ask her, Mom, how are you feeling? And every day she would tell me, I'm fine, I'm perfect, I feel fine. And I know deep down inside she wasn't fine. You know, like I said, I don't know how it feels. I don't know the pain she went through. My mom went through so much surgery. I had no idea, you know, all the things that she was getting done. I never knew it existed until, you know, I had to, until I experienced it with her. I didn't know what a colostomy was. I didn't know what, you know, like, what is it, the blood, what is it, a blood clot, how bad it is to have a blood clot. I didn't know how bad that was, or cancer. So yeah, unfortunately one night we went and visit her, and you know, I asked her again. I was like, Mom, how are you? And the other day she was fine, but that day I noticed that her, like this area, it was swollen, and her body looked like it was declining. You know, not her, you know, she was always joyful and always putting a smile for us, you know, because she's, you know, she's a mom. She can't act weak, I guess, around her children. So I asked her, like, hey Mom, are you fine? Are you okay? Do you need anything? And she just, no, I'm fine. But we called her hospice nurse. He came to check on her, and he told us, hey, your mom is not doing fine. Any day now she can go. And he told us we can give you the form of do not resuscitate. And me and my older brother, we just sat there crying our eyes out, thinking about it, like, you know, what's best for her, you know, because I don't know if you guys know, do not resuscitate form is basically if, you know, something happens, she has another stroke, or she's, you know, about to pass, they just let her pass. And if you do, like, if you don't sign it, they just try to resuscitate her, right? And, you know, let's say she's having like another seizure, they'll like use a little, you know, those, what is it? I don't know what
the things where they go clear.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm not medical professional, but yeah, they were gonna use that on her, and all her bones would have shattered, broken because of how much pressure, how much power it has.
Wow.
And they would have had to feed her down a tube. And like, as a daughter, as someone that loves her mom, me and my brother were just crying there.
You didn't know what to
decide. We didn't know what to do. We didn't want to think that she's gonna pass away soon, like we didn't accept it yet, right? So we just made a decision. We signed it for her because we didn't want any more pain for her. And it was already like too late. We did our best to get there early, but it was already like 10 at night. We were like the last visitors there. I feel like in my soul something was telling me like, hey, go visit your mom, like a gut feeling type. So we left. Before I left, I just told my mom that I loved her with all my heart. I'm here for her, and she's strong. She's gonna get through this. And little did we know that it was gonna be the last time I'd ever see her, right? So we went home thinking nothing much of it. They called us in the morning and they were telling us, hey, you guys need to come. Your mom had another stroke and we need you guys to come. But little did we know, she had passed, but they're not going to tell you over the phone. They're not going to tell you to where you, let's say you're like driving and you're in a rush,
Happen,
they didn't want that. So technically she had passed when they called us, but for the sake of us, they said that. So when we got there, my brother told me, hey, go check on my mom. There I go. I had no idea. So I go, and my mom's room, she always had the door open. She always had her curtain open. So whoever came, she was happy to see them. So that day, I walked into her room, and it was, her curtains were closed. And I was like, okay. So I go up to my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I'm here. I thought she was sleeping, right? And I was just shaking her, and I was like, Mom, I'm here. What's going on? And then, movie type, we just hear my brother screaming down the hall. He was just screaming, no, this isn't real, not my mom. Yeah. And then I hear that, and I'm just like, I look at her, and I shake her, and nothing. And I get on my knees, and I'm just like, wow. It's just a big shock, I would say. Because I had no idea. I just went to her room thinking she was sleeping, and I'm over here shaking, and then I didn't go straight to the nurse or whoever was there. I went straight to her. Yeah,
before them. They were supposed to tell you, but
it was just a shock, I would say, and I wouldn't wish the pain on anyone ever. My mom was she is my best friend. She did everything for me. She's my ride or die. She's my everything. She carried me in her stomach for 9 months. I was blessed to have her in my life for 20 years of my life. My mom was a hardworking woman. She worked every single day of her life. I hardly ever hanged out with her in the time that I did. We just do what mother and daughters would do, hang out, bond. So yeah, I had a hard time accepting it, I would say, in the beginning. I would always blame myself for her death. I could have done more for her, but I didn't. And she came into my dream and she told me she forgave me, and I'm very spiritual in that way. I see my mom's in my dream, so I know forgiving. She forgave me. This is what she told me in her dream. She told me that she forgave me no matter what it was. She forgave me for whatever I did to her. You know, I was such a rebel. You know, I would talk back to her. I would be so mean to her, call her names. You know, not appreciate her, right? Because I was a teen or whatever. And she just told me, like, I forgive you for anything or everything you did. I just want you to know I love you and your brothers. That's all I want you to know. And she was just hugging me. And ever since then, it went away. The guilt, the anger, you know, all the grieving stages, it all went away. You know, at the end of the day, I had to do what I had to do. You know, I have to continue to grow, you know. But one thing I do recommend is, if you do go through this, you know, don't put yourself down. Like, you know, don't go through depression. You know, always pick yourself back up. In the beginning, I would, you know, the way I would let everything out and release my stress and depression is I would go to the gym. You know, I would go to the gym, I would run, I would even lift heavy weights, you know, just because I felt that pain, like, you know, like that, you know, the grunting, like, oh, like releasing all that stress. You know, I would do all that, you know, because who tells you how to go through a loss like this? Who, you know, tells you grief is like this? No one. You know, you have to go through it and experience it yourself, yes. Right? And it's not just losing a family member, like you guys said. It's different things in life. Mm-hmm. And yes, it sucks. I've gone through so much in my life, and yes, it does suck losing things. But you know what you have to do? You have to accept it in the end and learn from it and take it with you wherever you go in life, you know. So
would you say that you are still grieving today?
Yes. Losing your mom, especially, or a parent in general, is a pain that's never gonna go away. You know, you feel it in your heart, and unless you've gone through it, you know what I mean. You know, just losing your parent, a close relative, whoever it may be, just know that it's a pain that's always gonna linger in your heart. No matter how much you've healed, you're always going to have some kind of pain in there, you know, because, you know, materialistic things come and go, but a human being, a person, they're not replaceable, especially your mom, you know. So yeah, I'm trying my best to not go back to depression or just letting myself go because of her loss. Like, I want to just keep going, you know, don't give up.
Yeah, that's not what she's going to want for you, you know?
Yeah, and trust me, I've gone through, you know, I've had suicidal thoughts. I would tell myself, hey, you know, I think life would be better if I was with her, but at the end of the day, I can't think like that, you know. I can't think that, okay, escaping reality is gonna solve everything, it's gonna take the pain away, but it's not, you know. So I've gone through it.
We were talking about this, and I don't know which episode it was, but when it was the suicide episode, I guess, right?
Or our worst years.
Worst years. So, like, if, you know, you think like that. Well, I don't know what it's like to lose a mom, but I know, since I'm not close to my mom, but if I did find out that she's out of this world, I know I would grieve worse than I did with my dad, because my mom too, she's the she was the one that's always like there for us if anything during that time. And yeah, I mean, I can't say I can relate. I just know that it's I know it's gonna suck. It's gonna be like a really hard time. So yeah. Did you have any for grief? I mean, mine is not really a loss, like what she was saying, like someone, because I have to be really close to that person for me to feel that heartache. Like I haven't really experienced that. I would cry at funerals to people I don't even know, because I feel feel bad, you know, like they're out of this world already. But at the same time, it's like I know there's a moment in my life where I started to accept, you know, death. But I think the worst case, other than my mom, it would be my kids, because I believe that, you know, since I'm older, any mother is gonna relate to this, that we should go before our children. We're supposed to.
Yeah.
And that's how that's how life should be, but it's not always like that.
Just like John Q. My son will bury me. I will not bury my son.
Yeah. Oh, that gave me goosebumps.
Mm.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it is a difficult topic to talk about because not a lot of people like to talk about it. But you know, like grief comes in different ways, and like for me, I didn't want to get into it, but I guess I will. Like, yeah, I've said in previous episodes, I did lose a child. It wasn't technically a child, but it was still a loss that it took me some time to heal from.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, I still, you know, wonder, like, you know, like today, today when I was at home, you know, I was with my sister and my nephew, my baby nephew. He's about 5 months. He's about to be 6 months soon, and he started crawling. He's at that stage where he's crawling kind of like to different places in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So he's rolling, he's moving, he's being
that stage.
Mm-hmm. And it just got me thinking, like,
that would have been,
that could have been my son. That could have been my child.
Yeah.
You know, like, even after that happened, like, because at the time, my older brother, he had a baby too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his girlfriend and me were kind of pregnant at the same time. So when she gave birth, it took me a while to be able to hold that baby. I could not hold that baby. And then my older nephew, I could because he was already with us.
Mm-hmm.
But my other nephew, I could not hold him. It terrified me.
Yeah.
But for me, how I grieved that loss was more like depression and acceptance and anger. Because, yeah, like I had said in a previous episode, I felt like that little glimpse of hope that I had for myself felt like it was snatched from me.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't had immediate close family members passed away, but I've had family members passed away, not just my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Because of family issues, I won't get into them. But I've had 3 other family members passed away, and I've had 2 of my closest friends passed away as well. One in middle school and one in high school. And the one from middle school, he committed suicide. He was bullied a lot. He was a really good kid. He was a really good kid, but it sucks that he was bullied so much. And he decided to take that route. Because he was, you know, he was that creative type. He liked to draw, he liked to do a lot of things, you know, read, write, poetry, all of that. You could see him that he was going to go places, but he decided to take that route. So that was very painful for me, and I wasn't even allowed to go to his funeral. Family issues.
Oh
yeah, and also my friend from high school, he was just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Right.
But, you know, still, like, it sucks that you know, we go through this, but it like we said before, it's part of life. It's really up to you how you wanna, what comes to you when it comes to grieving. But overall, you wanna learn from it too. And of course, it depends on the situation or the person or how close you are to them, what they meant to you. But eventually, you do have to accept it. Yeah. You can't just be numbing yourself all the time and, you know, being in denial or anything like that. It is painful. Do what you gotta do to be able to grieve them and be able to move on from it. And yeah, like Liz said as well, a little pain might be there, but as long as you accept it, it's just what matters, really.
And you know, suicide is real. You know, a lot of people tend to go down that route because they find it to be easy. You know, yeah, the pain lingers and sometimes you feel alone, but you're not alone. Just remember that there's people that love you and care for you, and at the end of the day, just know that people will grieve for your loss, you know. And just hearing that you took your life over something that could have been resolved, you know, it's not worth taking your life, your soul, you know. You only have one life, and you know, you just gotta push through, you know. We all kind of felt that, you know, and look at us. We've kind of pushed through it no matter how hard it's been, but we're strong, you know. We just have to find that help and, you know, like, how do I say it? You know, don't think that way, you know, don't have those thoughts. It's always, you know, like I said, there's always a way to get out of those thoughts. You know, like I said, I went to the gym, I started being, you know, more active in a way, and maybe you guys can try that, you know, talk your problems out, you know, write it down, you know, it might not help right now, but later on it will.
Talking to someone is usually the best. And like, this wasn't on our episode right now, but like before the podcast started, I was talking to Liz and I was telling her what she did. Like, she was telling a lot of people about her mom, and that, you know, that shows a lot of love, that you're always talking about your mom and she's always there. And even though you start crying, it's real, you know what I mean? And maybe to other people, they don't know the feeling because they still have their mom, but at the same time, it's just like you're letting it out, and it's like, it's both therapeutic at the same time, but in like and you're also honoring her and remembering her, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the same time, so that way you keep her spirit alive.
Of course, yeah. And,
That's beautiful.
yeah.
That's beautiful.
I know.
Yeah. So I guess I just tell that part of my story to others so they could know who I am. And, you know, I'm not a perfect person. No one is, right?
Nobody
so
is.
everyone has their little backstory, you know. I can say that I'm the way I am because I had the most coolest, awesome mom in the whole world, you know. And I just want to keep her, you know, her soul still alive through me, you know. I want to do things she couldn't do. I want to do them for her, you know. Everything I do is for her, you know. And yeah, I'll continue to keep going, you know. I feel like it's made me stronger as a person. And yeah, it hurt going through that loss at a young age, but I know later on, whatever comes my way, I'll know how to take it.
You know, you are growing from the time your mom passed till now. Even when I first met you, you're totally different in a good way. You've improved and you've gotten better.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not just my mom that I've gone through in a grief. I've gone through other things in my life, and I'm not gonna put myself down. Yes, it hurt. It put me down. It kind of knocked me down to the floor type. But I gathered all the little pieces that knocked me down, and I kind of stitched them, kind of taped them back on, you know, because that's what you do. You know, when you fall and trip and stumble, you gotta pick yourself up.
Well, there are other stuff other than like what you said in the beginning, right?
Yes.
Other than actual death or loss of a loved one, there's also breakups. Now I can remember that I did grieve over one, and it was hard for me to accept it, and I was like so depressed about it, but there was nothing I could do. So it was basically obviously with their dad.
Mm-hmm.
The time, and I'm always gonna mention him on this freaking fucking podcast, but the time that I found out that he was cheating, that's how I knew it's never gonna get better. Even though I tried, I already grieved, you know, that I was grieving. I tried, even though I want to try to help our marriage because we were married, there's also in the back of my head, like, I had to like let it go already. Like, he's gone. He was not the same person. And I know you can relate because you just had that recent experience too. But you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Okay, we all did. So we all can relate to it. But yes, like, it's just like you don't want to be, and then there's like the girls that do grieve angrily, and we call them, the nicknames are psycho bitches. But you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to go through that like that. I just wanted to just end it on good terms, as in like not go crazy about it, but at the same time already mourn that this relationship is not gonna be forever and it's not gonna move on, you know, move forward. So that was like my grief, if anything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a funny one too, but it's kind of like it doesn't fit in this podcast right now.
That'll be in another episode.
Yeah.
That'll be in another one.
It's a different kind of grief, which is like not even relevant.
Yeah, I think in a way too, for me, yeah, like my last relationship, I think that's the one that hit me the most, the hardest, because like, yeah, like you said, like in that relationship we had hit that point where I knew there's no coming back from that anymore.
Yeah,
this is it. Like, my ex-girlfriend.
Oh, okay, that one. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like to talk about her, but like so many topics relate to that specific relationship.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, yeah, it's fucking even hurts. It's hurting me right now a little bit, like physically, my chest.
To talk
talking
about it. Yeah.
But it was like, yeah, like when you said like that moment that, you know, it's like the grieving moment starts there.
Yeah.
Like, it's starting there. It's not right when they're like, oh, it's over. Like,
Yeah.
nah, it's even before that. Like,
Yeah.
you just have that gut feeling.
Yeah. Oh shit. No.
You know, because yeah, like yeah, for me, when I knew it wasn't gonna work out was surprisingly, it's when I gave her Christmas gift.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You're like thinking, okay, I should give her this, but at the same time, like, I know we're gonna break up, or like,
No,
or
so
what? I don't know. I was just like thinking about it.
no, so what happened was that well, she said she wanted a break.
Okay.
But I was like, to me, a break, that's a breakup. To me, that's, there's no, you're gonna go do whatever you want and then come back.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you want a break from me,
it's a total,
we're done.
It's done, yeah.
So for me, that was my starting point of that grieving period, or that grieving situation.
Right.
But she said she did want to work things out, and my dumbass went out and bought her a Christmas gift.
Oh god.
And I was like, but I was reluctant to get her a gift, because I was like, we're not together. She's saying we are, or that we're just, that she wants time to herself and this and that. But I'm like, nah, there's something else. You know, you just get that gut. You get that gut feeling.
Yeah.
You get that gut feeling. So, but once I did see her, and I, you know, gave her the Christmas gift, and she was seeing it, and so I bought her a fucking star.
Oh, what?
a star.
A star.
Yeah,
Oh
star.
shit.
You know how
You can actually buy
like,
them.
there's a
What the
name
fuck,
registry
Paulina?
where
You can actually get
you buy it.
What the fuck?
You can buy a star. You can buy a bright star. You can buy 2 stars or 2 bright stars. And I bought her a star.
What the fuck?
I'm that fucking romantic, man. I'm that fucking romantic.
Wow,
You're a real one,
that
girl.
is
You're a real one for that.
extreme.
Yeah, but cause
Wow.
it's like I was in the denial stage.
Okay.
Like nah, like I don't think we're gonna break up. I think we're gonna get back together. Cause
Right.
at the same time she was still giving me that, you know, hope. Like
Right.
Mhm.
like oh no, yeah, I just need a
fucking hate
break.
that.
That's
I
it.
fucking
And
Kind of
that.
excuses in a way. Like,
yeah,
Yes.
like I would ask, like I
Probably
would
trying to
text
like
her.
let her like down.
Yeah,
slowly,
like
but
don't leave me yet. Like,
not yet. Just
not
linger
yet.
around.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
But no, yeah, that day that I gave her that, and it came with the note and everything, or like I wrote a note to that, and I explained the whole thing. And but once she was reading it, she started reading it, and she couldn't. She started reading it out loud, but she started to get emotional, like it was hurting her,
Yeah.
and that's when I realized,
Yeah.
fuck, we're not gonna make it.
Right.
Oh.
This
fuck.
is not gonna continue. So that's when I went from denial to anger,
Mhm.
and I started lashing out.
Oh. It was not a good breakup.
It was not. It really was not. Some people are familiar with what happened with us, and then again there were rumors even at work because we worked together, kind of. But
No more dating coworkers, damn it. I'm
No.
just kidding.
good thing where I'm at now, I'm chilling. So yeah, but no, yeah, like it's crazy because like for me, I really did thought that just grief was just losing a loved one, but no, it's all kinds of things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like even a job loss, like losing your job, losing anything really, like
That meant something.
yeah,
to you.
something. That's something you
Had some
really-
kind of like sentimental value.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, damn, okay. Now even I'm learning too.
Well, let me say some stuff that could probably like help some people who are listening. They're just like little quotes that has to do with grief, and just wanted to share. It's nothing like too much, but it's something to move forward for. One of the quotes is, "The irony of grief is that the person that you need to talk to about how you feel is the person who is no longer here."
Damn.
And I know you can relate to that.
Yeah.
I know you can relate to that one. Another one is, "Little by little, we let go of loss, but never of love." That's for
I
sure.
love
And I know a lot, like, these are like giving me goosebumps right now.
that.
This one, the Queen Elizabeth, she said, and it's quoted by her, "Grief is the price we pay for love." And that could be any love.
Damn,
Yes.
that would hurt.
Yeah, that one hit me right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
Those are good. Those are good. They gave me goosebumps, so I had to share that. Those are really good. Ooh. Ooh, chills. Sorry. Like I'm like trying to like not cry. That's why. So I'm like being all weird right now.
Yeah. I just want to add, like, well, me, I've lost my mom like almost 3 years ago now, so I would say time heals a lot. You know, give it time. I feel time helps with a lot of things, you know. Yeah, sometimes you want to rush things, but no, it doesn't work like that, honestly. You know, time is very valuable. So, you know, just cherish the time that you have, and, you know, like, if you're having a hard time, just give it time. It'll go, it'll pass, but don't think it's forever, you know.
I would say grieve for yourself right now, because like we've been saying throughout this whole episode, you know, like life is short. Grieve for yourself. So do yourself a favor and get better, improve yourself, give yourself a lot of love, because you are ultimately the person that's going to take care of yourself. You know, your kids, they can try to help you, but you really are responsible for your health, for everything that comes, you know, with your soul, your mind, everything, your spirit. So
You're responsible for yourself.
Yeah. And, you know, like, I don't know if this is going to sound religious to some people, which I don't see it as religious, and I'm not a very religious person either. But we have to remember, too, that we are in a waiting room because no one lives forever. We are going to be handpicked.
Yeah.
We don't know when our time is up, you know. So we're just here, just waiting in a way. So instead of, like, really waiting, let's, you know, just make the best of it in any kind of way. You don't know. I mean, like, people, like, they work like robots 9 to 5, and eventually their life ends, and, like, that's it. Like, there's so much more to life than just being a robot. You know what I mean? Just, you gotta live it. And I really mean it. Like, experience everything, life, joy. Stop being so bitter and just, like, fucking enjoy people's company. You know what I mean? Like, just love each other, love yourself, and, you know, and everything, hopefully, for you will get better.
Anything else anybody would like to add?
No.
Okay, well, thanks for listening. Share your thoughts with us. Talk to us, please. We always ask you guys to give us, you know, if you like to share your stories, your experiences, your opinions, whatever it is. And yet you don't.
She's not getting mad, but, like, she wants to know, like, I know, like, that's why we have you guys as followers and you know, like, supporters. Like, we know you're listening to us for a reason, because you are broken too, in a way, and we do want to hear your side. And you can remain anonymous. We can bring it up, or if you don't want us to bring it up, that's fine too. But we want to know that you are listening and that you can relate to it, and we can just be there for you to talk to or whatever.
Oh yeah, actually, I did run a couple questions through the social medias that we have and my own. And yeah, I did. The question was, have you ever experienced grief?
Right.
And what was your way of coping with it? And I did not get a lot of responses again. But the couple people that did, one shared that they accepted it and they cried their eyes out for almost a week, which I believe that is a healthy way. Because you're just, in one way, you're letting it out.
Yeah.
Another person did mention that they drank a lot of tequila. I don't know if it was a joke or not, but if that's your coping mechanism, I'm not gonna judge. We don't judge here. But, you know,
yeah, because we've done the same.
Yeah.
We've personally done the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then a couple of more have said that they would talk to their family members.
And that's always usually like a healthy route.
That's a good healthy one as well.
Yeah, I would say my brothers and I, we never had the healthiest relationship ever. We were like cats and dogs, fighting back and forth. And I feel like ever since my mom passed away, it was my second.
It's okay, we can cut it. I'm gonna remember that.
Okay, so yeah, me and my brothers, we would fight back and forth until, you know, after my mom passed away. I feel like our relationship as siblings is like the best we've ever had. We actually treat each other with respect, and we actually work as a team, you know. And
That's beautiful.
yeah, so yeah, like, talk to your family members. They care for you at the end, you know. They love you. They know you.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for listening to us, and we will see you on our next